Good evening, Canby, and welcome to the Canby City Council regular meeting for February 4th, 2015. If you'll please stand for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight's invocation will be Council President Dale. Thank you, sir.
Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you that you have blessed us all with living in Canby. And I ask for your wisdom and your discernment in how to govern and knowing the right things to do, and for your courage to do them. And I ask for your protection and blessing over Canby. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Flags, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Okay. Next on the agenda is the interview portion of our evening of candidates for our vacant city councilor seat. And we have the, yes, sir, please take the hot seat for a volley of very tough questions, I'm sure. Hello, sir. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Thank you.
Good. Thank you for, well, I should say, did you enjoy your short vacation?
You know, it's kind of funny. I sure did. In fact, my wife and I were down at Cannon Beach over the New Year's, and I got a phone call about a council position that was coming available. And so I asked her, would you mind if I applied for that? And she said no. And so that's how I got started and filled out the paperwork, and happy to be here with you all.
We appreciate you applying and still staying involved and wanting to continue to do this.
You betcha.
Is there any questions for candidate Coleman this evening?
Off the record or on the record?
Well, considering we're live, it would be on the record.
On the record, Counselor.
I think I'm okay.
Okay.
Sir, if I could make a comment.
You sure can.
Well, one of the things, I think in order to be a counselor, as you all know, it's an incredible time commitment. And so that's one factor to take into consideration. The other factor to take into consideration is that all of the counselors, the mayor, all the city, care a great deal about the community. And I'm very proud of actually what we were able to accomplish over the last 2 years. I'm very excited about what's ahead. I think there's some real opportunities before us. I think there'll certainly always be challenges, but I think the city manager, the police, the fire, all the city staff, and all of you and the mayor, I think we've assembled a dream team, and I'd like to be a part of that. And I just am really excited about what I think we can accomplish.
That was very nice. Thank you, sir. So no, I guess that will conclude the interview portion. Do you have something that you need to say?
I do. Mr. Mayor, I move to appoint Clint Coleman to the Canby City Council to fill the remaining term of a vacant position ending December 31st, 2016.
Second.
Motion's been made by Council President Dale, seconded by Councilor Hensley, to appoint Clint Coleman to the Canby City Council to fill the remaining term of a vacant position ending December 31st, 2016. Any discussion? Any further question? I have one now. Will you run at the end of 2016?
It depends on if I accomplish everything that I hope that we can accomplish. If I don't feel that can do the best, I will step aside. I have no political aspirations other than to do my part as a citizen, to try to do my very best to build out our industrial park, to help the overall health in the community and work well with all of you. And I feel that with city employees, the city staff, and with all of you, I'm really confident that we can work well together, respect one another. And if I didn't think that we could work well together, if I didn't think we could get things done, I wouldn't have applied. And if I feel like there's still a lot I can do in 2016, if I feel like I'm the most qualified, I will certainly run. But if I think there's others that are better positioned, then I'll step aside.
Okay.
Very nice.
Very nice. Thank you, sir. All those in favor of appointing Counselor Coleman, or soon-to-be Counselor Coleman?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carries 5-0.
I wish my appointment was that easy.
Quit your whining.
Now, we'll invite Counselor, soon-to-be Counselor Coleman and Judge Graff up for the swearing-in.
Because we don't want to let you change your mind.
Get it right out.
My question, what would be
Please raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Clint Coleman,
I'm a qualified elector
am a qualified elector of
of the city of Canby,
the city of Canby,
and I have resided in the city of Canby, Oregon,
and I've resided in the city of Canby, Oregon,
for not less than 12 months,
for not less than 12 months,
immediately prior to the city council appointment
immediately prior to the city council appointment,
on February 4, 2015.
February 4, 2015.
I will support the Constitution and laws
I will support the Constitution and laws
of the United States and the state of Oregon,
of the United States and the state of Oregon,
and will faithfully perform the duties
and will faithfully perform the duties
of the office of city councilor
of the office of city councilor
of the city of Canby, Oregon,
of the city of Canby, Oregon,
to which I have been appointed.
to which I have been appointed.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Stand right there.
Okay.
It's too late now.
Oh, no. Thank you. Is it okay to come up?
Absolutely, please join us. There you go.
Thanks, Judge. Yay.
Thank you, Judge.
Thanks, Judge.
Thanks, Judge.
Counselor Coleman, welcome back.
Thank you.
All right. Moving to communications at this point? Nothing? Okay. Our first opportunity for citizen input and community announcements. Generally, this is the portion of the evening for community items to speak to us on items not on the agenda. And we have these little yellow cards. You can fill out and come talk to us. And I have one tonight from John Surlett, who would like to speak to us about Canby's wild turkeys. Sir, would you like to come up and...
Good evening, everyone. I'm John Surlett. I live at 710 North Juniper Street, Canby, Oregon, and I've been a resident here since 2007. And I'm here tonight to address the council on behalf of the birds that we have residing here in town that have taken up residence here 3 to 4 years ago. There's many people that are pro and many people that are con on this subject. I happen to be one of the advocates of the birds. I love to see the wildlife and watch their antics as they pass through my yard twice a day. My concern is the safety of the birds. Several of them have been hit by cars and killed in that time that they've taken up residence here in our city. Most people are very compensatory for the birds and slow down, yield to them. Others I see blare their horns at them and race by, and it really grieves me to see that. I don't know what we could do about it for the birds' safety. I feel the birds are kind of a untapped resource that we have here in town that we could use to, again, promote the livelihood of our city, the businesses and whatnot, to draw visitors in to watch the wildlife. They are actually wild birds, and even though you can get close to them, I get within about 5 feet of them, then they get skittish and back away. But they still are wild. They're not like domestic chickens. So it really is nice to see the wildlife. They roost over on Juniper Court, a little U-shaped street off of North Juniper Street. And so twice a day they migrate across North Juniper Street, which is not a real busy street, but busy enough. It's one of our main north-south thoroughfares. And unfortunately, the birds think they own that section of town. And usually the toms, too, are the ones that will take offense to the cars honking at them and stand there and gobble back at them. It's really funny to watch. They have I don't know if you know or not, but the birds somebody has started their own Facebook site, Canby Town Turkeys, and there's 900 followers of us that watch the birds on there and post to it. So it's, again, I feel it's an untapped resource that we could more fully utilize. What I would like to propose to all of you is that if we could add some signage perhaps on Northeast 9th and on North Juniper Street, something to the effect of yield to turkeys or something like that. If we just put Turkey Crossing, like we have that duck crossing sign up on Territorial, it really doesn't tell the motorist what to do. But if they were to say yield to the birds, then that would give them a little bit of margin of safety, I feel. I've talked to other people about this, and they feel, the others I've talked to feel the same way I do about it. So I'm here to lay my case out for the birds to you and let you take your best shot at what you feel is the best in the city interest on this subject. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Sirleaf.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, John. Thanks, John.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm John. I'm one of the people on the Facebook.
I'm a follower.
A couple of us are, and I find them enchanting as well. I've also heard from critics who have said that they're going to take over this city at some point. But they are wild birds, and I kind of like them. And Mr. Mayor, if it would be acceptable with the council, I'd like to ask city administration to discuss with Public Works what options we might have for signage. I think that it could be leveraged as a bit of a tourism draw. Photograph of a sign going up saying yield to turkeys. So it's something that if the council is all right with, I'd like to ask city administration to proceed to see what sort of options they may recommend.
If I could add to that, Mr. Mayor, one area we might look to for some research possibly is in Kauai, Hawaii. There's an awful lot of chickens, something like that, on the loose. And they do have the right-of-way, so they do have signage to recognize the birds. And so that might be a point of reference on how they deal with those. I know their signage is pretty prominent, and so there's a bird in the road, you best cooperate or there could be consequences.
Key West, Florida also has the wild chickens that roam all over downtown, and they're much more numerous than our turkeys are here. We only have 5 currently, but and it's quite a tourist attraction down there. So.
I am a fan of some turkeys as well, as you know, as they go through my yard multiple times a week and entertain my grandkids. So I would be along the same lines as Councilor Parker again, in that maybe just checking out the options would be what we can do. I'm for looking at options.
Yeah, we don't have a turkey advisory committee yet to make a recommendation. But
If we get one, maybe Mr. Sirleaf would chair that committee.
but I may pass this along to our economic development director to see how much mileage we might get to declare it the city bird. And
turkey.
but appreciate your advocacy. We hear so many times from people that have other things to talk about. It is nice to have somebody come here and talk about a delightful part of our livability. Thank you for showing up tonight.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, John.
I have already made myself a note, actually during your presentation, to follow up with Public Works to see if we can do something to provide some support. I was debating whether it would be prejudicial to say yield to turkeys, whether I should say something like yield to turkeys and other wildlife.
We'll wait for their
Filing suit, yeah.
But let's get some publicity out of this. I think that would be fun.
How many were there originally? Does anybody know?
There was 5 originally. One of the hens got hit by a car on 9th October, the first year they were here. I heard another one of the hens got hit this year when they were up in their summer area up towards Territorial. I don't know that for a fact. That's just word of mouth what I've heard. So
And how many of the babies have survived?
we're back to 5 right now. There was 6 chicks born this spring, and out of that 6, 2 have made it. So there's one new tom and 1 new hen.
Okay. I was wondering, 'cause 5 is all I was seeing too, and I thought the numbers didn't add up, so I was afraid of that. Okay, thank you.
I guess,
I will take
Council has
it
spoken.
from here.
okay. Stay tuned. Next on the agenda, mayor's business. A couple of things. First off, this evening, council met in conjunction with the Budget Committee, the Municipal Audit Finance Oversight Committee, to get a budget update, as well as kind of lay down some groundwork for the upcoming budget season here this spring, as we get ready to talk about budget season for 2015 and 2016. So we're very much on that, and appreciate staff being very much aware and presenting those to us so that we are in the know on what's going on with that. Attended the city's dinner with the guest speaker for us was Secretary of State Kate Brown. I think she probably could have spoken a little bit longer, I think, on some of the things that are going on at the state level, but it's always nice to be able to draw somebody of that caliber to Clackamas County to hear, just kind of get a feel of what's going on at the state level. We had 2 retirements here in the last couple of weeks. Retirement of Sergeant Tim Sommers from the Canby Police Department, and then also the retirement of, and Chief Davis, if I get this wrong, please correct me, Division Chief Tom O'Connor from Canby Fire. He's retiring and taking a position with Life Flight, where he'll be jumping off of helicopters and flying all over the Great Northwest. In case you missed it, Monday was Groundhog Day. And according to Facebook, we have 6 more weeks of winter. And it's not been such a bad winter, so I might be okay with that. You could be in Chicago or New York or Cleveland,
Or Cleveland.
where there's several feet of snow. Today I attended the North Clackamas Chamber of Commerce State of the Cities Luncheon. They had mayors from Happy Valley, Oregon City, Milwaukee, Damascus, and Gladstone, just kind of giving an update on what's going on in their cities to the North Clackamas business community. There's a tremendous amount of development planned in all those cities, excluding Damascus, which I'll get to in a moment. Oregon City's Legacy Project, which is the project around the Willamette Falls and what's going on there, is crossing one of its first hurdles they sent out the RFP for the Riverwalk. So that's a pretty major step in that project. Mayor Dan Holliday was mentioning that overall project is going to be north of probably $30 million to bring together, but there'll be a tremendous amount of development there. Those falls are second in terms of volume to Niagara Falls, so it could be a very big economic piece for this part of the state, and I think would become probably, I'd like to say, the #1 tourist attraction to Oregon but we'll see. Those wood burn outlets tend to be pretty popular.
That's still the ranking one.
It is true fact, folks. Look it up. Definitely, I think something for our radar that we need to be very close to and working with conjunction with Oregon City. I believe there's a lot of opportunity for us to be able to also capitalize on said project. And so it's something I think we need to be very much aware of and watch that closely when we can. Milwaukee, they're looking at a couple of interesting things. They're looking at instituting sidewalk fees to bring sidewalks, much like the road maintenance fee. They're looking at instituting a sidewalk fee to add sidewalks to a larger area. Milwaukee has a lot of areas that don't have sidewalks if you ever drive around in kind of the neighborhoods in Milwaukee. So they're looking at doing that, and they're also looking at creating an urban renewal district for their downtown and whatnot. So it'll be interesting to watch that. Damascus, as I said, they have a lot going on. Unfortunately, it seems to be more about trying to look at some charter amendments, disincorporating, which I think are at the courts right now, they said. And there's a large group that wants to be annexed into Happy Valley from Damascus. So it's an interesting situation over there to watch. So some good things going on in those cities, and I think overall in Clackamas County, some really great pieces. I know the Board of County Commissioners is really trying to figure out ways how we can, much like with our industrial park, really highlight those areas and try to compete with Washington County for businesses as they come into Oregon and flee Multnomah County if that were the case. Finally, today had a meeting with a couple of people from county, and it looks like that would be county and Canby, will be invited and having a meeting with the LCDC to discuss the Arndt Road I-5 connection in the next couple of months. So it sounds like we will be at least starting some conversation and trying to push that forward. So
LCDC or ODOT?
the LCDC. So
What does that stand for again, please?
Land Conservation and Development Commission,
Yes.
dealing with land use laws. We're wondering why them?
Arndt Road out to over by Langdon Farms, isn't that the 50-year rural reserve?
that is the rural
That's what's-
reserve.
It's in rural reserve, so we'd have to appeal to them to have access.
To improve. Yeah, that was one of the somebody jump in when I butcher this. So back when we were having the conversation of rural reserve and urban reserves, that swath of land between us and I-5 was put into rural reserve. And one of the caveats that by doing that, you cannot develop within that particular designation. So this would be us looking to to develop that. So pushing to at least, how do we get, is that an exemption piece? Is that part of our own Clackamas County grand bargain that Washington County had? So there's a lot still yet to go, but at least it's a first meeting to see about getting that ironed out and a better connection to I-5 for us.
Well, our commerce needs it, and also with the Aurora Airport putting in a tower there, I predict within 10 years we're going to have commercial air service in and out of that. And that's going to promote hotel and all sorts of development there. So having a master plan for that area makes a lot of sense instead of just doing dibs and dabs as it's coming along. That tower is a game changer.
Yeah, that's the big piece when when they were looking at the tower piece and the groundbreaking with that. That is a huge piece for this area. There was a lot of, you talk about to that point of the development that's going to occur, and there are already a number of private jets that fly in and out of there, but we're also starting to see some of the smaller commercial planes that do come in and out of there. So the tower will definitely add a tremendous amount, and I know that there's been a lot of back and forth between Marion County commissioners and Clackamas County commissioners over the years, but I think that's being ironed out, and I think we will see a benefit to us dramatically when you look at areas like Tualatin. They have no more buildable lots in the city of Tualatin, where we have still much more room to grow. So I think that overflow piece we will be able to benefit from over the next 10, 15 years, I think, so.
Well, and the regional airports are maxed out. Troutdale.
Correct.
Hillsborough. So we really have an opportunity. Too bad we can't annex that airport.
Wrong county.
Can you imagine trying to cross the county?
Interesting battle.
Wouldn't that be?
Somehow I think this council's up for that, right?
Yeah,
I'm
let's
a-
do it.
Come on.
Sure.
Rick, you got nothing else on your plate, right?
After the turkeys, but you get turkey.
Yeah.
Annexing something else.
It goes back to our budget conversation about staff and that kind of thing. Yeah, right, okay.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah,
So-
if we're not careful,
shake
Rick's
your
gonna
head
make turkey our council mascot.
It should be.
All right. So that's all that I had. We'll start here with Councilor
Oh,
Rocha.
thank you, Mr. Mayor. Canby Fire Front, the Chief of Staff and the Board of Directors are working on updating a strategic plan, which has not been done since 2003. They've hired Jordan Haig today as a firefighter position. On a personal note, I've met him, been to our house, had dinner with him. Great young man. He's going to be a great addition to the fire department. I'd like to congratulate him. Chief Davis is getting things in shape, from cleaning up SOGs to restructuring organizational charts to working on getting new apparatus to fixing up the station. So he's been pretty busy. And on a personal note, with the board meetings, it's been a pleasure to attend them lately, just to witness the camaraderie and the cohesiveness of the chief, the staff, and the board members, something I haven't seen for a while. So it's been a pleasure to go to those. So thank you, Chief.
Counselor, could you tell us what SOG is?
I'm going to tell you because I wrote it down because I had to ask my wife because she works there.
Okay,
Standard Operating Guidelines.
thank you.
You're welcome.
As opposed to SOPs.
Please, yeah.
Yes, okay.
I told her, I said, I'm going to be asked. I need to write this down. So,
I just want to make sure the people viewing at
I
home
noticed you waited
understand
until
our
you were
actions.
asked.
I
Instead of
did.
just
That's
saying it in
right.
the first place.
Anything on the parks front?
that's 2 weeks from now, and libraries next week.
Okay, thank you, sir. Counselor Parker.
Well, something that may tie into the parks part is that the bicycle committee is looking at inviting the council and other interested people for a tour of the logging road and to possible logging road extension as a way of generating interest and maybe providing some momentum to finally getting that done. So you'll be hearing from the committee staff on that, and it would be exciting to be able to try and extend that logging road. Also, the tying into the comments about Oregon City and its economic development resurgence, which has been going on and is going to continue to go on. That the Bike Ped Committee and our city staff is working with regional partners to get an interconnect between Oregon City and Canby, looking at whether South End Road or exactly what the appropriate place would be. But the idea is that Oregon City is really going to become a hub of tourist activity, and we want to get a piece of that action out here. So we are talking with a regional bicycle alliance and also state people to try and encourage that. Arts and Culture Commission is looking at some more public art to put up. And even though the bike stands weren't officially considered part of the public art, today at the faculty lounge at Canby High School, people were talking about how much they liked those bicycle stands. So there, you anti-standers.
Thank you.
And finally, Main Street program, First Friday is coming up. Remember, Valentine's Day is coming up, so great time. We've got some places to pick up jewelry, clothing, chocolates is always good, wine for your sweetie. So that's this Friday. That's it.
Great, thank you, sir. Counselor Hensley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I likewise attended the Clackamas Cities Association dinner and incidentally met a new city councilor who's from West Lynn who bikes through Canby and also mentioned the bike racks and was very impressed by them. So that's 2 compliments on the bike racks in 1 week. All right. I also attended the retirement ceremonies for Division Chief Tom O'Connor, 21 years at Canby Fire, and Sergeant Tim Somner, 28 years with Canby PD. So We thank them again for their years of dedicated service. They'll be missed. Chamber luncheon was also something I attended on the community front. On liaison report, CTV 5, the board has Tony working on identifying goals and creating a plan for achievement of those goals. A more comprehensive report will follow later when we have more details. Traffic Safety Commission met for a special work session regarding a traffic calming plan where they were the audience to city staff, where they gave the presentation of a traffic calming plan adopted by the city 5 years ago. The commission's reviewing the plan. They'll make any necessary revisions and recommendations, then be using that plan criteria when reviewing project proposals in the future. As you know, Mr. Mayor, C4 is tomorrow night, so we'll have a report on that later. Traffic Safety Commission will meet again on Friday morning, and I will be attending my court observation visit later this month.
Okay.
And that concludes.
Any more in the terms of the traffic piece regarding 10th Avenue and its the stop signs and or development of the traffic pattern flow there?
They did not discuss that at the last
Okay.
meeting, and when we get to the end, maybe Councilor Coleman will recall the status of that from a previous meeting, but they weren't talking about that at this time. I could still be in the works.
Okay, thank you. Council
We'll
President
pick
Dale.
his brain.
Alrighty, likewise attended the retirement of Sergeant Tim Summer and expressed my sadness that we're losing a Tim. There's a tight balance of power at the police department between Tim's and Chris's, and it's shifted a little. So I did volunteer to take up the slack.
Wow.
Chief Smith was not impressed. On the Canby utility front, the board at their next meeting will be getting their first look at the resumes of the applicants for their general manager position. And they'll be going through a similar process to what we do. They'll be getting some initial screening and ranking and can carry on with their consideration from there. And that's it.
All right, thank you, sir. Councilor Height.
Okay, yeah. So the school board tomorrow during their work session will vote on the charter school proposal. So that'll be happening tomorrow. And then at the chamber luncheon, I was there too. And I was happy that Tripp Goodall, the interim superintendent, gave the State of the School speech. And the mayor had given the State of the City speech apparently the month before, which I missed, unfortunately. But it's nice. I think both are very important. So I was glad that he was there to do that. A couple of highlights from that. The school district is not as optimistic about the state's funding for this biennium as they had sort of hoped several months ago, but they're hoping it won't be too ugly. We'll be able to maintain services anyway at the current level. A couple of goals of the district he shared are kindergarten readiness, students reading on target on grade level by 3rd grade, and high school preparedness for the middle school students. So those are a couple goals anyway. Our graduation rate, which you might have seen in the Canby Herald actually yesterday, is higher in Canby than the state average, which is pretty cool. So we're at 86%, whereas the state is at 70%. So well done there. Yeah, and the Friends of the Library's annual meeting is February 24th at 2 p.m. in the library, so this is a little advance notice for that. All are welcome, and we won't strong-arm you too much into joining. You can just come and see what's going on. You're welcome to join. That should be fun. And I attended the criminal court Monday morning. That was interesting. I saw Joe in action, Judge Graff, and yeah, I enjoyed that. It was... Yeah, I'd never been in a court before, actually, so there we go. That was good. And then on an interesting note, Ken Ryder, he's going to be volunteering at night school in the capacity of a reading tutor. So I do some volunteer coordinating for the schools, you know, and so Counselor Ryder, the former, is going to be a tutor. And he also said he's going to be volunteering at the police department in the near future, too. So good for him. Yeah. And that's all I've got.
Councilor Height, can you give the date of the Friends of the Library Board meeting?
Yeah, February 24th at 2 p.m.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Coleman.
Well, Mr. Mayor, I just have two things to add. One thing I'd like to suggest that John Serlett come to the traffic safety meeting this Friday from 8:30 to 10 a.m. at the Public Works, because birds in the road are certainly a traffic safety issue. And I think if you educate the public, that could help build a case for your plea. And as far as stops on 10th Street, I think that's what you're referring to, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
at that last workshop, it was specific really to, what the work that had already been done, so it didn't really enter into any other topics. But I do know that in talking with Jerry Nelzine, I believe they were looking to try to get traffic counts on 10th, because as Northwoods gets more built out and the counts vary quite a little bit, but they are very aware of safety issues there, as we all are, and we'll bring that up again this Friday, Tracy. That'd be
Yeah,
a hot topic.
yeah. You might wanna, yeah, I'll talk to Jeff and
Okay.
get it on the agenda.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Great. See, back at it already there, Councilor Coleman. Great, thank you all. We'll move into the consent agenda approval.
Mr. Mayor, I move to adopt the minutes of the January 21st, 2014 City Council regular meeting and work session, the reappointment of Mariah Latinen and Francisco Zamora Flores to the Transit Advisory Committee for terms to end on March 31st, 2018, the appointment of Elizabeth Burrows Chapin to the Transit Advisory Committee for a term to end on March 31st, 2017, and appointment of Elena Canute to the Municipal Audit and Financial Oversight Committee for a term to end on December 31st, 2016.
I'll second that.
Great.
I'll second that, and I'm glad to see Elena back in service to the city, and also Elizabeth serving on transit, two excellent citizens. Glad to see them participating.
Excellent. Well, the motion's been made by Council President Dale and seconded by Councilor Parker and Hensley to approve the consent agenda, which include the adoption of the minutes of the January 21st, 2014 City Council regular meeting and work session, reappointment of Mariah Latinen and Francisco Zamora Flores to the Transit Advisory Committee for terms to end on March 31st, 2018, appointment of Elizabeth Burrows Chapin to the Transit Advisory Committee for a term to end on March 31st, 2017, and appointment of Elena Canute to the Municipal Audit and Financial Oversight Committee for a term to end on December 31st, 2016. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Passes 6-0. Thank you, sir. So next on the agenda is a public hearing. Kim, in terms of the statement, we're looking at a
Legislative.
Pardon me? Thank you. So the public hearing tonight is for a noise variance application for ODOT. We're going to be doing some work from Oregon 99E at Berg Parkway south to the city limits, starting June 16th, 2015 to October 29th, 2015, from 7 at night till 6 in the morning. So that's the hearing tonight. So the matter presently before the hearing body requires a public hearing. All interested persons in attendance shall be heard on the matter. If you wish to testify on this matter, please fill out a yellow comment card and give it to the city recorder. At the appropriate time, please step forward to the microphone, state your name and interest in the matter. Those people that are interested in testifying as either proponents or opponents, please indicate your desire to speak by raising your hand at this time. For longer presentations, proponents and opponents may buy time from one another. In so doing, those either in favor or opposed may allocate their time to a spokesperson who will represent the entire group. All questions must be directed through the mayor. Any evidence to be considered must be submitted to the hearing body for public access. All written testimony received both for and against shall be summarized by staff and presented briefly to the hearing body during the staff report. The public hearing will be conducted as follows. There will be a staff report. Questions, if any, by the hearing body or staff. We will open public hearing for testimony. We will have opponents for not more than 3 minutes, opponents not more than 3 minutes. Closing of the public testimony. Then we'll have questions, if any, by the hearing body, discussion by the hearing body. A decision shall be made by the hearing body at the close of the hearing on the matter, or the matter will be continued to a date certain in the future. This will be the only notice of that date you will receive. Does anyone have any questions about the procedure of the hearing? All right. With that, we will move into staff report.
Yes, the request from the Oregon Department of Transportation is for a noise variance to perform road work for us, it is from Bird Parkway south to the city limits. The work will actually continue into Aurora, so we're seeing a pretty good section of pavement replaced. As you consider this request, you also must consider the protection of health, safety, and welfare of citizens, as well as the feasibility and cost of any noise abatement that might be required, the surrounding type of existing land uses, the acoustical nature of the sound emitted, and whether the variance from the provision would produce a benefit to the public. It's a pretty straightforward request. We're anxious to have ODOT perform this work. We have received no written opposition to the request, and staff recommendation is for approval.
Questions or comments? Okay. Well, I will open up the public hearing for any testimony. Are there any proponents to this? No? Any opponents? Great. We will close the public testimony on this one. Questions by the hearing body? No? Discussion?
As any other noise variance, if there's no one written opposition and no neighbors here to complain, I support it.
My one, I won't say a complaint because I'm glad ODOT is paving roads around Canby. There was conversation, myself and previous city manager with ODOT discussing two options for paving. One was going to be through Canby, namely from end to end, from down by Sequoia all the way through up to Berg Parkway, or they were going to run Berg Parkway all the way to Astoria.
Astoria, that'd be great. How about
Aurora, thank you. My A city's correct. And hence why we end up with this, I guess we'll call it the patch job that we have on 99E through town right now, because the larger project that ODOT felt was Berg Parkway to Aurora. Though I lobbied very hard to try to get in town paved first. But the mighty ODOT has their way sometimes. So that is my 2 cents on the project. I'm glad we're getting paving done. It'll be great. Smooth sailing down to Aurora. Okay. All right. We will, no discussion. Great. We'll come back and visit.
Need a motion?
Now? Sure.
Mr. Mayor, I move to grant a noise variance to ODOT June 16, 2015 through October 29, 2015, from 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. for paving construction of Oregon 99E at Berg Parkway South to the city limits.
I'll second.
Motion's been made by Councilor Roche and seconded by Councilor Hensley to grant a noise variance to ODOT June 16th, 2015 through October 29th, 2015 from 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. for paving construction of Oregon 99E at Berg Parkway South to the city limits. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Passes 6-0. Thank you all. Resolutions and ordinances.
Okay, the next item we have is Resolution 1208. This is amending Resolution 790 regarding officers of Canby Transit Advisory Committee. This is just a housekeeping resolution, and it's to make it consistent with current practice.
All right.
Yeah, and essentially, what would happen if you approve the resolution is it would modify the officers of the Transit Advisory Committee to remove secretary as one of the officers, and it would simply codify, if you will, the process for selecting the officers and the timing for that selection.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Questions at all for staff on this one, anyone? Nope. Okay.
Pretty straightforward.
It is pretty straightforward. Take a motion, please.
Mr. Mayor, I move to adopt Resolution 1208, a resolution amending Resolution Number 790 regarding the officers of the Canby Transit Advisory Committee.
Thank you very much. Second.
Second. Need somebody to do it.
Motion made by Councilor Hensley and seconded by Councilor Rocha to approve resolution number 1208, a resolution amending resolution number 790 regarding the officers of the Canby Transit Advisory Committee. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? This is 6-0. Thank you.
Next item we have is Resolution 1209. This is amending the project, and Resolution 1141 authorizing full faith and credit and refunding obligations, Series 2012 and related matters. Haley Fish, our Finance Director, is here to present the next two resolutions.
Hello.
Hello again.
So these are also pretty much housekeeping resolutions. We presented to our bond council the ballot measure that was passed in May and the current description of the project that we're going forward for the Civic Center. And they recommended we make these wording changes to the project description within the bond documents and the IGA between the city and the URA.
Any financial impact?
No.
Okay. Any questions for Haley on this?
Essentially, what this does is it removes reference to remodel from the library project.
It actually, it just protects us from risk of anyone questioning how we're using the bond proceeds, making it consistent with how we are.
All right. Great. Thank you. Take a motion, please.
Mr. Mayor, I move we adopt Resolution 1209, a resolution amending the project, and Resolution number 1141, authorizing full faith and credit and refunding obligations, Series 2012, and related matters.
Second that.
Motion made by Counselor Hensley and seconded by Counselor Coleman to approve resolution number 1209, a resolution amending the project in resolution number 1141, authorizing full faith and credit and refunding obligations, Series 2012, and related matters. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes 6-0.
Okay, the next resolution is Resolution 1210. This is amending Resolution 1144, approving an IGA with the Canby Urban Renewal Agency regarding the transfer of tax increment revenues and proceeds to the city for the purpose of paying the Series 2012 obligations.
So again, this is just a continuance of those housekeeping measures we just talked about. I would note that the bond council does not consider these material or significant changes to these documents. They're just technicalities, making everything consistent. And that there will be a few additional steps going then to our escrow to actually amend the documents after the city council has approved these changes to complete the steps.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, I move we adopt Resolution 1210, a resolution of the City of Canby amending Resolution number 1144, approving an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Canby Urban Renewal Agency regarding the transfer of tax increment revenues and proceeds to the city for the purpose of paying the Series 2012 obligations.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. Motion made by Counselor Hensley and seconded by Council President Dale to approve Resolution 1210, a resolution of the City of Canby amending Resolution number 1144, approving an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Canby Urban Renewal Agency regarding the transfer of tax incremental revenues and proceeds to the city for the purpose of paying the Series 2012 obligations. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Passes 6-0.
The next item we have is Ordinance 1410. This is authorizing a contract with GT General Contracting in the amount of $230,301.44 for Southwest 4th Avenue road improvements. And this is before you for second reading.
Thank you, Kim.
This, as you recall, is the road and sidewalk improvements on Southwest 4th Avenue, which backs my landmark, Taco Bell, and and Burger Barn folks, and is adjacent to the high school.
Good.
Very much needed improvements over there. We're talking sidewalks, lighting,
Yes.
et cetera. So I think that that's great over there. And Rick, you've now been with us for how long?
about 4 months.
Okay, so up here we have Burger Bill. I know in
Burger
California you
Bill.
had In-N-Out. But it's, so, we gotta make sure we,
Well, I have it on
Bringing
good
those over.
authority that Burgerville is much superior to In-N-Out.
we will discuss that in a minute.
You feel you have to say that now because you live here.
There's some In-N-Out fans.
We were seriously considering texting you to bring us some In-N-Out when you got here.
Medford. It's Medford. So, all right, anyways, I digress. Thank you, sir. So I'll take a motion, please.
Mr. Mayor, I move we adopt ordinance 1410, an ordinance authorizing the mayor and city administrator to execute a contract with GT General Contracting in the amount of $230,301.44 for Southwest 4th Avenue roadway improvements and declaring an emergency.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Hensley, seconded by Councilor Coleman to approve ordinance number 1410, an ordinance authorizing the mayor and city administrator to execute a contract with GT General Contracting in the amount of $230,301.44 for the Southwest 4th Avenue roadway improvements and declaring an emergency with a roll call vote.
Counselor Rocha?
Yes.
Counselor Parker?
Yes.
Counselor Hensley?
Yes.
Counselor Dale?
Aye.
Counselor Hyde?
Aye.
Counselor Coleman?
Yes.
Yes, we have it.
6-0. Thank you.
The next item we have is ordinance 1411. This is authorizing a contract with Herd Farms for wastewater sludge removal. And this is also before you for a second reading.
And this is an agreement with a maximum value of $75,000. Excuse me. Yeah, it's actually an interim step that we have taken. Our intent is to negotiate a longer-term agreement based on tonnage rather than a maximum contract value. We believe that we can more successfully manage both the contract and the handling of the resource through a modified approach to hauling and treating the sludge.
Perfect. Thank you. All right, any questions or clarifications? Okay, motion?
I'll make
Mr.
a
Mayor?
motion. May I? I'd like to move that we accept ordinance number 1411, an ordinance authorizing the city of Canby to enter into a contract with the Herd Farms for wastewater sludge removal and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Councilor Hyde. A second, please.
I'll second that.
Councilor Hyde's first official motion. There you go. Tonight, seconded by Councilor Rocha to approve ordinance number 1411, an ordinance authorizing the city of Canby to enter into a contract with Herd Farms for wastewater sludge removal and declaring an emergency with a roll call vote.
Counselor Rocha?
Aye.
Counselor Parker?
Yes.
Counselor Hensley?
Aye.
Counselor Dale?
Aye.
Counselor Hyde?
Aye.
Counselor Coleman?
Aye.
Passes 6-0. Thank you, Kim and staff. Next on the agenda this evening is, under new business, is new council liaison assignments. Really, we only have a couple of things to, I think, left to assign, and Councilor Coleman.
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. Would love to assign you back to the Municipal Audit and Financial Oversight Committee, if you'll do that again.
Sure.
Thank you. The ever-popular Planning Commission, sir, are on Monday nights. Are you?
Okay.
Thank you. And that leaves us with two neighborhood associations not covered by liaison role, the Northeast Canby Neighborhood Association and the Southwest Canby Neighborhood Association.
Northeast is right in my neck of the woods, so happy to.
I kind of figured that that's where you would go. Thank you. And can some,
Mr. Mayor, as I said at the last meeting, when we were going to iron this out with the counselor replaced, finally, thank you. Welcome back, Mr. Coleman. I'll take the other neighborhood then, the Southwest.
okay,
I just wanted to know which one he wanted first.
okay. I appreciate you stepping up and taking that for
You
sure.
know who the chair is?
For the Southwest, yeah, Kim would
It
love
was
to.
Richard Hall, so
Yeah, I don't know.
their webpage isn't up to date on anything.
Okay, I'll get in touch with the vice chair then.
Yeah, I would start
Thank you.
there. There's a couple of pieces over there we should chat about for sure. Okay. All right, that was painless, thank you. City Administrator, Business and Staff Reports.
I do have a few things to cover with you this evening. I would first like to thank Chief Davis and note that he and I did meet last week. He presented the Canby Fire Board's request for funding from the Urban Renewal Agency. We're working through multi-year budget projections and other issues associated with that and other Urban Renewal Agency funding matters, and I'll be working closely with Chief Davis as we try to find ways to address the request of the fire district. I want to echo the comments that were made here earlier relative to the working relationship that the city enjoys with the Canby Fire District, and more specifically that I enjoy with Chief Davis. It truly is a pleasure working with him, and appreciate both the professional relationship that we have and the personal relationship that we enjoy. I would also note that I had hoped to have the architectural agreement on today's agenda. We are just ironing out the final details in that. We do have a price that we've agreed to and scope of services that we've agreed to, so I'm confident that we'll have it on the agency agenda for February 18th. We are also still working on the findings and resolutions for the construction manager general contractor hearing that the agency will be required to conduct. And so I'm actively involved in drafting those and working with legal counsel to address other issues that he has identified. I'm moderately confident that I'll be able to have that on the March 4th agency agenda. And I say moderately confident because that does require 14 days notice of a hearing. And so we backing 14 days off and allowing me about 4 or 5 days to work up the new language. I think I can meet that deadline, and so my goal is March 4th for this CMGC hearing. We have, thanks to the courtesy of Councilor Parker, set our retreat date for April 10th, and we will be scheduling that at the police department, the public conference area, and we'll probably be extending that into a couple other meeting rooms. I have a general concept of how I want to proceed with that. I'm excited about it, and am hopeful that at the end of the day you will be both exhausted and enlightened with what we can provide to you. Would also like to note that we are proceeding with our Public Works Director recruitment. The initial recruitment closed this past Friday. However, I made the decision this evening, Amanda Zyber and I made the decision jointly this evening to allow the continued receipt of applications up into the future until we make a final determination. We have a couple good applications, but we think that there are other people in the community and in the industry that may still have an interest in the position that simply haven't yet responded to it. So we've reopened and are leaving open until filled the application process for Public Works Director, and we'll have a continuous evaluation of applications until such time as we believe we have an adequate representation of talent, and that's the point at which we'll close.
Very good.
And that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Second opportunity this evening for citizen input on anything that was talked about, or maybe jog your memory that you want to talk to us about. All right, seeing no one rushing to the podium. Action review.
You've appointed Clint Coleman to the City Council to fill a vacant position expiring December 31st, 2016. You've approved the consent agenda. You've approved the ODOT noise variance application. You've adopted Resolution 1208, 1209, and 1210. And you've also adopted ordinances 1410 and 1411. And you filled the remaining council liaison assignments.
Great. Thank you, Kim. Joe, is there an exec session this evening?
There is not.
Okay. Before we adjourn, I wanted to let you know, stay tuned. Don't turn off your TVs because we have a brief, exciting urban renewal agency meeting. So I will take a motion to adjourn the city council. Motion making Councilor Hensley. Take a second.
Second.
Okay.
Non-debatable.
Non-debatable motion.
Got to go straight to
Motion made by Councilor Hensley and seconded by Councilor Motion to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Hang on, Camby. All right. Urban renewal. Agreement with the city of Canby regarding the transfer of tax increment revenues and proceeds to the city for the purpose of paying the Series 2012 obligations.
Second.
It's been moved by Vice Chair Hodson, seconded by Commissioner Hensley for resolution number URR 15-001, a resolution of the City of Canby Urban Renewal Agency amending resolution number URR 12-013, approving an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Canby regarding the transfer of tax increment revenues and proceeds to the city for the purpose of